So we're just fresh back from a tour of the Wyman's processing facility, where they process 40,000 pounds of blueberries an hour, about 30 million pounds of blueberries in a 6 to 8 week period of time. And as you see, there's miles and miles of blueberry fields still yet to be raked. Tim here. We're in Maine, where we're in Wyman's blueberry processing facility, and we're about to get a tour. So I'm told that we're looking at 1.3 to 1.5 million pounds of fresh Maine blueberries in this room right now. It's a lot of blueberries. It's a lot of blueberry pie. So this right here is basically the entrance of the blueberries to the production line. This belt, they load the crates onto the belt, gets up to a certain point, and you'll see that the crates are flipped over, and then the crates go one way, the blueberries go another way, where they're going to continue on the processing. After the blueberries are dumped and come up the escalator, so to say, they enter an area which is called the shaker, for obvious reasons. It's shaking them, it's separating the leaves from the blueberries. Then both the blueberries and the leaves enter that chamber area where there's airflow. The leaves are lighter than the blueberries, so the blueberries drop, they continue on their path, and the leaves go out in a separate direction. They're sucked into the air system, and at which point they're saved and they become compost for next year's harvest. So this is another shaker. We just previously saw one shaker. This is an extension of the first one. So basically this is more of like the hand process. The blueberries go down into the hole, the ones that are desirable, and then the ones that are not desirable, as well as the clusters of dirt, debris, and residual leaves will go down into another bin, which again becomes compost. So essentially this is just a washing process of the blueberries. It separates the sediment from the blueberries. It goes from the separation of the leaves and debris to the cleaning process. This mechanism is another shaker, and basically the water's flowing down, the berries hit the shaker, there's trays down there that pick up the residual berries that don't make the cut, and they're pumped up into these lines where they'll continue on their journey. So this is what they call the floater tank. And basically what I'm told is the sweeter and more plump the blueberry, those blueberries will sink to the bottom. The floaters will circle their way back around. The ones that float to the top, they have a lighter sugar content. They're not as sweet as the ones that sink. The ones that sink go on to the next step. These are the ones that have the higher sugar content. And what you see here is the berries going through a final rinse. And then they're going into what they call the tunnel. So this is the process after they just went through their final sanitation phase. And this is basically a drying mechanism. The cool thing about this mechanism is it's a downward vacuum. So there's a vacuum system which sucks the water from below down, which dries off the blueberries, and that way when they're dried off, they won't freeze together in a big brick. So this right here is what I've been mentioning beforehand as the tunnel, which is basically the freezer mechanism. So the blueberries are going through the freezer mechanism. It takes 7 to 8 minutes to go through the whole process. By the time they reach the other side in that 7 to 8 minutes, they'll have reached a temperature of -25 degrees below zero. So it's very cold in there. There's fans circulating the air just to make sure that they're frozen quickly and evenly through the process. So in this room is where the stems are separated from the blueberries through turning wheels. This is the discharge. So behind me is a proprietary piece of equipment that we cannot have on camera. So basically, in a nutshell, it further separates the good from the bad, making sure that you have the best product that they can give you. We're standing in a freezer that's 15 below zero right now with the capacity to hold 12 million pounds of blueberries.